Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Frisch, and I read faces. Today we're going to take a look at an infamous face. I prefer famous people or sports figures, but sometimes we got to look to the dark side, and we're doing Jeffrey Epstein. Obviously, he's been in the news, obviously he's still in the news, but there's so many things on his face that are diagnostic. And so I'm going to just kind of walk you through what we see here. And from a health standpoint and what it means from a psychological standpoint and from a personality standpoint. Unbelievably deep lines across the forehead. This deals with bowel, but when you take that and you see the lines on the cheek and the sunken cheek, in traditional Chinese medicine, this represents the lung and large intestine, and it's what's known as the metal element. Now, each of these elements, there are physiological things that go on, and then there are emotional traits that go with this. Now, this picture is when he is being jailed, and the emotion of a deficient lung, the cheeks are sunken in with lines, deep creases across here, is despair. There's a hopelessness component. He got busted. Very sunken in temples. Temples represent spleen function, but they also represent your body's ability to be happy. But no one can look at this face and not grab this unbelievably deep crease here. This deals with liver. This is a person that pushed his liver to the limits. My guess is he put things into his body that were very, very unhealthy. I know nothing about his personality other than the horrible things we have read about him. He has very, very deep lines coming here. They're called nasolabial lines, and they're way too long. This indicates stress, profound stress in his body. Under insurmountable stress, the lines are almost coming together at the end. He's got this hook-shaped line right here in his chin. This indicates prostate. When these lines come together, it indicates the potential for a shortened life. I hate speaking these things because we don't know what his life would have been. However, the interesting thing are the bags under his eyes. Very kidney deficient. Now, when we talk about kidney in traditional Chinese medicine, it's kidney, bladder, sex organs, and hormones. When you're deficient, one of the ways you can energize this deficiency is sex. How can we not factor that into the equation here? Just a very sad and interesting face. Unhappy, overstressed, use sex in an effort to get any kind of energy built up in his system. Anger issues, probably abuse of drugs and alcohol, or at least a family history of that happening on. Completely unhappy and total despair in this individual. Would be interested to see a picture of him when he was younger to see if those markers were there, but they're there now. You know, an interesting thing about facial diagnosis, and I have over 80 books on facial diagnosis. My daughter and I, the book we wrote, she wrote the book about my experiences with patients. We have one thing unique to our book, and that has to do with the right and left sides of the face. The right side of the face is what you show to the world. It's your public persona, and it's what you want the world to see. Matter of fact, we can't even see the left side of the face. There's so much energetic power coming off this. Even on a picture, we can't see the other side. The left side is your truer inner private self, and it's your father's influence. And mother on the right, father on the left. How do you remember that? Mom's always right. So what you have to do is you have to cover one side of the face. I see it because I've done it so long, I don't have to do this. But if you cover one side of the face and you look at what he's shown to the world, he's sad right here. I mean, sad. Obviously, this is a mugshot kind of thing, so I don't think a lot of joy was in his life at that moment. Now, when we cover the other side, this is disturbing. This guy's angry. He's heartless. It's just, he's looking right through you. He has little care for human life. It's a disturbing eye to look at. It's uncanny how dramatic this is, and it's just so diagnostic and so helpful for me as a physician. But also, it's important sometimes to point things out for a patient. And then lastly, his pupils are at a different level. This indicates a traumatic brain injury or concussion. There's inflammation in the brain that causes one of the eyes to become lower. So my feeling is he had a traumatic brain injury. If I wrote another book, I would title it The Emotional Concussion. I think you can concuss a brain emotionally just as if you slammed your head on a concrete. So, interesting face. I could go so much more here, but I think that's enough on this very infamous person. Thank you.